bus run an hour later, so you may see some subtle differences in the show. For example, at an earlier hour, we look like this. At the later hour, it looks like this. Enjoy the new format.
Spin City this week on ABC.
NFL Countdown is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual Life. Have you heard from the Quiet Company?
Good zick there on the pound on the keyboards. A couple of late notes. Andre Rison, inactive today for the Chiefs. Bad Moon will not go in Philadelphia. John Mobley will play at linebacker for Denver. Auto racing for Martinsville, Virginia. Next, baseball on ESPN2. Next, for all of us here at NFL Countdown, I'm Chris Berman. See you on Friday.
Command, our Grand Marshal, Robert C. Atkins of Stanton, Virginia.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The engines have fired at historic Martinsville Speedway as the golden anniversary celebration of NASCAR continues in 1998. There have been 26 battles so far in 1998 with 9 different winners. It might seem that Jeff Gordon's 10 victories have given him an inside edge on the championship. But history has proven you can always expect the unexpected.
Oh, and Rusty spins. Davey Allison is in the crash.
There's the checkered flag for Allen. He's the champion for 92. Still looming large on the horizon are tracks like Talladega and Daytona that can change the face of a championship in the blink of an eye and see a comfortable lead in points dwindle to a fleeting few. Martinsville Speedway, NASCAR's oldest and shortest field of combat, also can't be taken lightly. A long list of casualties have emerged from this harrowing half-mile of pavement and concrete. Jeff and his Rainbow Warriors will need all the talent and racing luck they can muster to survive 500 laps in sweltering heat as they continue their quest for the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup.
Jeff Gordon starts 6th today. Needs to finish his 4th or better in the final 7 events of 1998 to lock up his 3rd Winston Cup championship. Sounds simple? Well, consider this. He still has to go the largest, fastest, and most treacherous track of all, Talladega. And how about today? Has to survive 500 laps on the smallest and tightest oval at Martinsville. Well, what's the difference? Well, one miscue and 140th place finish could mean a 150-point swing in the standings. Both Jeff Gordon and his closest pursuers know there may be just 8 battles left to fight, but the war is far from over.
If you're going into battle, you better have a tough warrior. Last week, Mark Martin slayed a monster. Today, he takes on Martinsville, a track he seems to think is tougher than he is. Fat chance of that. He was fastest in happy hour, and he's tougher than a track hot dog. But even if he wins them all, it might not be enough to catch the Rainbow Warrior. This field is mined with explosive talent. For guys like Jarrett, Burton, Wallace, Hamilton, and others, the battle plan is moved through the field with speed and patience. The fighting hasn't even started, and guys like Irvin, Rudd, Andretti, and Musgrave are already ahead. The goal in this game is not to shoot down your opponent or even try to capture them. All you have to do is pass them. All of them. Gentlemen, choose your weapon.
Perhaps the most important weapon here today at the Martinsville Speedway is the front bumper, because if there's a car in front of you holding you up, you got to get up there and give them a little bit of a nudge. And if that doesn't work, then you got to give them an even bigger nudge. And that's where this weapon comes into play, because the teams then have to beat the fenders back into place. Now, you also need a pretty good suit of armor. The most important parts of the armor you don't even see. I'm talking about the brakes and the rear end gears. And if you have a problem with those, not even the biggest hammer in the world is going to help.
Live from Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, ESPN Speed World welcomes you to the Napa Auto Care 500, the 27th race of the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Jeff Gordon enjoys a 194-point advantage as we enter this event. 5 drivers in the top 10 have never won here: Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, John Andretti, and Terry Labonte. Here's the Walmart EverStart starting lineup. Ernie Irvin has his third pole of 1998, and Ricky Rudd is on the front row for a short track race for the first time since 1993. Jeff Gordon will start third. He has 2 Martinsville wins, and Rich Bickelbenny is the first of several unusual faces we see in about the top 14.
Yeah, the next row is unusual. Wally Dallenbach and Jeff Green, 2 drivers who need a great start. A great race, I should say. Some veterans back in row 4, but I tell you, I think Mark touched on it in NASCAR today, Ned. The temperature, the heat today is going to be a factor before this day is over.
Denny, I've been coming here for a long, long time, and I can't ever remember the temperature being as high. Yesterday it was well into the 90s. It could be that hot today. These cars generate a tremendous amount of heat as we watch the balance of the starting order here. They turn so many RPMs with the engine here, and that generates heat. The brakes generate heat. Just about everything they do generates heat, so it's going to be a torture for the drivers.
And as you see the miles per hour, 92 miles per hour average around this racetrack, there's no real speed here to dissipate that heat that we're talking about.
And the entire qualifiers, 1 through 36, were separated by 0.325 seconds, just a little over a third of a second separating the entire field of qualifiers.
See Earnhardt back in 17th row. He certainly knows how to win. Kevin LePage was a leading rookie here this afternoon, qualifying on Friday. Now we get to provisionals. Steve Park, another rookie. And row 20 is 2 rookies, Nadeau and Irwin.
And the 43rd starting position goes to Dave Marcus.
Onboard cameras this afternoon. Kenny Irwin, our Circuit City onboard camera. Steve Park also NAP onboard camera. Kenny Wallace has the Square D onboard camera this afternoon as we look out the rear bumper. Bobby Labonte is carrying the Food Lion onboard camera. Bill Elliott this afternoon, the McDonald's onboard camera. Rusty Wallace will be taking along. We'll ride with Rusty today, the Miller Lite. Mark Martin, as he tries to catch Jeff Gordon for the championship, will be riding along with him in the Valvoline onboard. And Dallenbach, the Budweiser onboard camera, starting back in 5th row. John Kernan.
Michael Waltrip has pulled off the backstretch, and he's headed back out on the racetrack trying to catch the tail end of the field. Already before the race has even started, we've had contact out there as the 21 car, Michael Waltrip, ran into the back of the 96 car, Mike Bliss, and Waltrip has some pretty significant damage to the front end of the car. The Wood Brothers crew has done what they could to try and pry it away to try and straighten that nose back up, but it's been up pretty much, and I think it increased the ground clearance on that front air dam, so that will definitely affect the handling.
And so it goes at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon holds a track record here. It was set 2 years ago. They expect pit stops between laps 135 and 155 with no cautions, and the purse exceeds $1.6 million. And there is where Michael Waltrip hit Mike Bliss, who is making his inaugural NASCAR Winston Cup start.
And that's not really a problem, though, because Michael Waltrip is the guy that came out the worst in this situation because air going through the grill, number 1, cools the engine, and number 2, cools the brakes, and that is crucial. If he's been any of the ductwork that cools the brakes, he will not be long this afternoon.
And you can see that was a pretty good lick to dent the back of the cat car in as much as it did.
In the last 13 races, Jeff Gordon has 13 top 5s and 7 wins. But look at this. Mark Martin has lost 187 points, but all but 55 of those were lost with his 40th place finish at Darlington. What does all that prove? Again, if somebody has one bad race in the next 7, their position in the point standings could be in jeopardy. We invite you to stay with us all afternoon here on ESPN, because if there's anything that happens significantly in the baseball world, with McGuire and Sosa going for the home run record and, of course, the possibility of a play-in game tomorrow, you'll stay tuned and have all the information for you right here on the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN.
Ready. Green, green, green.
thought maybe Jeff Gordon would follow Ernie Irvan through to second place here in the opening laps, but indeed the outside front row starter Ricky Rudd has positioned himself right behind Ernie Irvan and challenges Ernie for the lead, as a matter of fact.
Both of those drivers are very smooth, and that's what it takes here at the Martinsville Speedway, is be smooth on those brakes and smooth on the gas coming off of the corners.
See Rich Bickle running along in 4th place. Now we've got a jam back here. Is Jeff Burton trying to follow Dennis Setzer. Dennis Setzer, the 13-car driver, had a lot of success yesterday on the outside in that truck. He's trying it again today.
One thing that he learned, Benny, is in the early part of the race, the first few laps, everybody's trying to...
Oh, we have a problem down in turn 2, Ned. Sorry to interrupt, but Darrell Waltrip is going the wrong direction.
And caution is out. Darrell needs to hurry or he'll go a lap down if he can possibly see the caution. There, he gets it turned around the other way. Takes off, so he will stay in the lead lap.
So the first caution coming out at the conclusion of lap number 4 on lap 5. Here's what happened over in turn number 2.
We see Earnhardt go down in the corner in the 3-car, and the left front, he slides that left front.
Derek Cope runs into Earnhardt there a little bit. Comes down on the inside, and Darrell, of course, was already spun out up in front of him there, and that's what they were trying to avoid.
From another angle, you can see the contact between LePage and Dale Earnhardt.
And Jimmy Spencer back there in the back of Kevin LePage, the 16-car.
So that is the situation, and it will be all afternoon. Bumping and grinding and slipping and sliding at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. We'll be right back.
It starts here. It starts here. It also starts here and here. And it all starts right here at Walmart, home of the EverStart battery. All the cold cranking power your truck, car, boat, or more will ever need. Power you can count on when you need it most. And since it's at Walmart, you can also count on a good price. EverStart. The name says it all.
Rather go to a real race? During the Napa 500 Great Start Sweepstakes, you could win one of 8 trips to Daytona Speed Weekend, or the grand prize, a trip to Daytona, $10,000 cash, and be the honorary starter of the Napa Auto Parts 300. So come into any Napa Auto Parts store for details. Napa Power Battery, $32.99 after rebate.
How's the car, Dale? A little tight off. 0 cars moving up. Get them on the inside.
Inside every member of Team Monte Carlo, there's a side that's kind of wild.
Get another tire.
Team Monte Carlo.
Animal.
Pardon me. This year, they're hungrier than ever.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? You don't, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. To do it yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
ESPN Speed World coverage of the Napa Auto Care 500 from Martinsville is being brought to you by Napa Auto Care. At Napa, we keep America running. By Team Monte Carlo Chevy, the cars more champions trust. By Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. And by Quaker State for protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. The green flag has just come out here at Martinsville, but we've had a couple of people in the pits. Bobby Hamilton was, and Rusty Wallace still is, Bill.
It's a radiator problem for Rusty Wallace. No water in the radiator. They don't know if they have a leak or if it's in a hose, but there's no water in the radiator. They're going to try and swap that out, losing valuable laps. Bobby Hamilton had a plug wire come off. He had a miss in the engine. They're hoping tightening up the plug wire will help them.
Hamilton, of course, the most recent winner here at Martinsville, having won the spring event. Up front, it's much the same as Irvin tries to fend off the challenge of Ricky Rudd and Jeff Gordon there in third.
And Ned and I talked about just how much heat the drivers are going to have to go through this afternoon. Ernie Irvin is the only driver here right now that really and truly is cool. He's probably 10 or 15 degrees cooler than any other driver, because as you run behind these other cars, as Ricky Rudd says, I want to get front. I want to be in that cool air. Not able to do it. But Ricky Rudd, his car inside is probably 10 degrees warmer than Ernie Irvin's, simply because he's behind Ernie, getting the heat off his car in the grill in his car.
This is the fourth race that Ernie Irvin has led in 1998, most recently at the second Michigan race,
where he was on the pole.
There's John Andretti back there in 6th position behind Jeff Green.
And he tries to get a fender alongside him going into turn 3, and he'll make the pass. Jeff just didn't fight him too much. He backed off and made a little contact there.
50-car Wally Dallenbach just behind Dale Jarrett. Wally with an outstanding qualifying effort.
Dale Jarrett qualified 10th, has moved up to 7th, so his car going the right direction.
Well, he and John Andretti stayed up on the outside there the first couple of laps and were able to pick off some positions. And before we had that problem, I started to explain. We talked about Dennis Setcher learning yesterday that he could go up on the outside. And one thing that happens in the early part of the race is that everybody's trying to get to the inside, and there's only so much space down there, so the drivers can, here's what's changed for the lead, it looks like, and Ricky Rudd going for it.
Rudd to the inside of Irvin is going to take the lead, and Jeff Gordon is going to try to get into 2nd position. And this is the 4th race that Ricky Rudd has led in 1998. Can Gordon position himself off the corner to get 2nd spot from Ernie Irvin?
Ernie gave him room just enough. Just enough.
And he slides out a little bit. Ooh, and they bump. And Irvin's going to lose a couple more positions.
Well, I tell you what, that's something that Jeff Gordon certainly doesn't need now, because a bump like that can get the toe in messed up, toe in, toe out messed up, can bend some suspension parts.
So Ernie Irvin drops all the way back to 5th position. It's Gordon, Rich Bickle, and John Andretti behind Ricky Rudd. Now here's Bickle trying to get to the inside of Jeff Gordon for 2nd as we watch overhead from the Pennzoil copter cam.
And then you wonder, maybe if he did, maybe knock that toe in out a little bit. He had that position, not able to keep it now. He's going to lose several positions here.
That's what it looks to me like, Ned, that he has bent to steer the suspension on that 24 car.
Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace remains in the pits, and he has lost 10 laps so far and counting. They continue to work.
Boy, and he thought, and a lot of people thought, this might be his best shot to win because he runs so well on this racetrack, and now Rusty, his chances have gone down the drain to win this race.
And Jeff Gordon is hung on the outside and continues to lose positions.
Yeah, the outside is not the place to be right now. We talked about maybe in the first few laps is okay, but once they've run several laps, got those tires heated up a little bit, it's not the place to be.
I don't know that Jeff Gordon's car, if he were to get to the bottom of the racetrack, could run with these other cars. Interesting to see what happens when he gets to a gap. Maybe the 50 car, being a teammate, will let him in. We'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah, he is. So that's 7th and 8th. Gordon back to 7th, and Wally Dallenbach in 8th. Jerry Punch.
Well, a moment ago, a very frustrated Ray Evernham jumped off the pit box. Now, Jeff hasn't said anything on the radio, but Ray, looking at the cars that came by, gave me the signals with 2 palms pointed outward, indicating it may be towed out. And if that's the case, as you guys speculated, that car would not run very, very well. We get a battle heating up for 2nd spot.
Yeah, Rich Bickle and John Andretti in a good battle for 2nd position, as Rudd now has separated himself by a little over a 1.5 seconds from Rich. Pick up a position from Wally Dallenbach. Here comes Ted Musgrave, who's running the 77 car this week.
Boy, once somebody gets a nose under you, gets up on that outside, you're meat for everybody else because they come after you too. See Jeff Burton now, he's going to try to make the pass while they have Wally on the outside. Comes Todd Bodine in the car number 91. Had a great qualifying effort, Todd did, in that unsponsored car. Now Rusty leaves the pits, but he's about 17 laps down.
A costly pit stop for Rusty Wallace. So that battle back there has settled down just a little bit. We'll show you what's going on up front. It is Ricky Rudd. The last time he led here was back in 1991. And he, of course, is trying to extend his consecutive year winning streak to 16 in 1998. 26 laps have been completed here at Martinsville. They're the top 10. Rudd leading Bickle, Andretti, Irvin, and Jarrett. We'll be right back.
He is an American icon. He has sold more than any other. He is fast cars. He is rock and roll. He is the king.
Hey, watch it, baby.
What my glasses are? The Brake King. Run into the one and only Brake King for quality fast service. No appointment necessary. Jefferson Avenue, Newport News.
Well, if you can't stop, run into Brake King.
Being called an idiot. Just because you fear technology, that's not my fault. I've been called a lot of things at this table, but an idiot will not be one of them.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. The Bengals against the Ravens.
I'll be afraid to wear that helmet, Cam. The radio waves might mess up my mind.
It's time to enter NASCAR's Fan Fantasy Weekend Sweepstakes for your chance to play a special part in the Napa 500 in November. Just call 1-900-26-FANS-WIN by October 1st. Correctly answer 4 NASCAR trivia questions and you're entered for the drawing. Each call costs $1.99 and subject to official rules. 21 or older, please. No purchase or paper call necessary. Just print the answers, your name, address, phone number, and age on a postcard and send to this address, or enter through NASCAR online. 10 winners will be selected at random on October 6th.
Tonight at 7:30, Chris Berman and Tom Jackson have all the highlights of all the day's NFL games on prime time. And that brings you right up to ESPN Sunday Night Football, which tonight at 8:15 features the Cincinnati Bengals and Corey Dillon against Jermaine Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens in an AFC Central showdown. Then on ABC's Monday Night Football, Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions defend their home turf in an NFC Central battle with Warren Dunn and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8 o'clock Eastern. ABC and ESPN, your exclusive networks for primetime NFL football. Ricky Rudd still about a 1.5-second lead on Rich Bickle. You can see the 71 car of Dave Marcus has been lapped.
Dave is in 41st position. There are 2 other cars behind him as far as the rundown is concerned. And that's Rusty Wallace, who spent 17 laps in the pits, and Dick Trickle, who has been in the pits now for 9 laps. 9 laps.
And he continues to sit back there on pit road. John Kernan can tell us the problem with Dick.
Trickle pulled in because he was out of brakes. He hit the brake pedal and went all the way to the floor. What the team has found out, they've got a pretty significant leak in the right front. So apparently they're going to have to change the entire right front hub assembly with a new caliper rotor and everything because it cannot fix the problem. problem right now. Let's go to Bill Weber on the front stretch.
Rusty Wallace has significant damage to the front of his Miller Lite Ford, and when he got that damage, he damaged his radiator. He punched it in right here. The radiator leaked all the water out of it. That's why he came to pit road. He'd asked his pit crew to look at the car on the left side, see if there was any damage. Mark Armstrong saw the water leaking from the car. They brought Rusty in. They changed the radiator. They sent him back out with a 6-time winner here. It's 17 laps down.
Starting off at quite a deficit in this race, which has just begun. We're 37 out of 500 laps into it.
See, somebody's been in the back of Kevin LePage's car. Ricky Rudd now about to put Derek Cope a lap down. Derek in the Gumout Pontiac.
He just put Jimmy Spencer a lap down. Spencer is in 40th position.
Right, now that's the traffic that Ricky Rudd is coming on.
And John Andretti taking over second place from Rich Bickle. He'd been stalking him for about 8 or 10 laps. And now Ernie Irvin and Dale Jarrett have caught up to that twosome. So you see right there, 2nd through 5th.
Great run for Rich Bickle of Thorn Apple Valley Ford. Earnhardt obviously had some damage, some contact with someone. Look at the rear bumper almost to come off. John Turner, what happened to Earnhardt?
During that caution where Darrell Walter got spun around, someone ran into the back of Dale Earnhardt. That's not really the problem. The car just isn't handling the way he wants to. I talked to Kevin Hamlin before the start of the race. He said, man, it's a record for things that we have changed. He said they changed 18 different things on that car this morning. He says, I'm not sure if we changed enough to make a difference.
One of the last to emerge from what amounts to a garage area here to enter the inspection line before the race began. And obviously Dale is having problems still in 34th position. Now Rudd is in heavy traffic as they hit there momentarily.
Cope bounced off the outside retaining wall when Darrell Walter came up beside of him, as he is right now. And now we're going to try 3 abreast.
It's something you don't see very often at Martinsville. Darrell Walter goes a lap down.
And Derek Cope is fighting. Looks like he's just absolutely fighting for his life. Here comes Andretti trying to get by Spencer.
Boy, he is ready to cut down the distance on Ricky Rudd as a result of Rudd getting in to that lap traffic.
Andretti was about to get into the back bumper of Jimmy Spencer there a moment ago.
Dale Jarrett has been trying to get around Ernie Irvin for the last few laps. Now trying it on the outside. This is for the 4th position.
Ernie gave him room off the corner now. He gives him racing room here.
Our Napa Field summary shows you that the manufacturers battle has Chevrolet leading by a scant 3 points over Ford. There's the summary of the Fords. And here is Sterling Marlin taking the position from Jeff Gordon. That moves Sterling up to 6th and drops Jeff back to 7th. And now Burton is hot on Gordon's heels.
Yeah, he has come from where did he start? 19th position?
Started in 16th spot. Has moved up to 8th.
There is the story on Jeff Gordon, who has been going the wrong way here since the start of the race and since a bit of contact in the early laps. Still, Ricky Rudd is in a lot of traffic and has not yet put Derek Cope a lap down.
Yeah, Bob, he's going to be in heavy traffic for a while, too, because cars are scattered out all the way around the racetrack. So once you catch the tail end of the field, you're going to be in. Of course, there's a little bit of space right in front of Michael Waltrip as he does finally clear Derek Cope. Michael Waltrip with that damage that we talked about earlier, made a pit stop on the pace lap. He is running in the 37th position.
Schrader, Todd Bodine, and Brett Bodine are involved in a pretty good battle here. That's back in 12th, 13th, and 14th.
There we see 15th Elliott, 16th Mark Martin. And Mark told us on NASCAR today that's how he's going to run this race today. He's just going to sit there and he's going to ride. He's going to try to find out how his car is doing. He's not going to really try to run to the front. He wants to be there at the end, and then he has anything left, he'll make adjustments and he'll try to win the race.
His main objective was to stay on the lead lap and, like you say, try to stay out of trouble.
Mark Martin won the spring race in 1992. As we're on board now with Bill Elliott, looking up ahead to the Bodines and Schrader.
Schrader in the green, number 33. Todd Bodine in the blue, number 91. We were leaning on him just a little bit there, and here comes Brett trying to pass his younger brother, Todd. Brett in the white number 11 Paychex car. He makes the pass.
And Todd Bodine finally gets back down to the bottom of the racetrack. So let me try that at the bottom groove for a second.
Ricky Rudd finally got around the Derek Cope car and also Michael Waltrip, and so 36 cars remain on the lead lap as Ricky Rudd has about a 3/4 of a second lead on John Andretti. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment from Martinsville in Virginia.
Let's go back to the situation of Prohibition. Prohibition was an extremely difficult period for the Bush family. That period almost broke the company. Grandfather had a couple of choices. So he went into the yeast business, he went into the soft drink business, he went into the making of carriages, he went into the making of cabinets. When Prohibition finally came to an end, my father wanted to do something for his father. He did so by presenting him with an 8-horse hitch, the Clydesdales. The Clydesdales were taken down Pennsylvania Avenue, where the first case of beer was delivered to then-President Roosevelt. The Clydesdales today are a symbol of that quality, of that tradition, of that excellence that is the hallmark of Budweiser, that is the hallmark of Anheuser-Busch.
Hey, Mr. Science, ever wonder what a hard-working engine goes through? It gets the high rev, and I drove over the mountain because it was their guts kicked out of it. With abuse like that, you don't want to take chances. This is Quaker State 4x4, a synthetic blend for hard-working engines made by guys with more college degrees than they've had dates. It's been tested. For pure maximum protection, there's nothing better. I wouldn't lie to you. They're not paying me enough. Quaker State, sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Who's that, Grandma?
That would have been your great-uncle Floyd. About 65 years ago, he was playing hide-and-seek with his friends. And they never found him.
If you're gonna play to win,
Nobody found me.
play to win. If you're gonna have roast beef, have roast beef. Hardee's tender roast beef, specially seasoned, oven roasted, fresh slice to order.
You're gonna go? Go all out.
Could be the hottest fall race in history here at Martinsville, Virginia. We welcome you to our live ESPN coverage. The leader is the car that is orange and white and yellow. That's Ricky Rudd, the Tide, right out front. But here comes John Andretti in hot pursuit as he's about to lap the 75 car of Rick Mast, who's in 35th.
Andretti's car seems to really get some bite off the corners here, and that's what you need is get good traction coming off the corners.
Third place is Bickle, then comes Jarrett, then comes Marlin, then Irvin. In 7th position is Jeff Gordon. Jerry, what are they going to do when they get an opportunity to work on this car?
Well, Bob, they're not sure what the problem is, but they're going to be ready. On this table back behind the pits, they've got the tie rods laid out to replace the left and right side tie rods and other suspension parts. They want to be ready because they know that Gordon right now is having trouble battling with the car in the corners. They have also, by the way, gone to the NASCAR official and asked if they can pull the front fender out. They were told they can pull it out even with the outside of the tire, and that is all.
Not this story again, huh? Remember at Dover last week, he was black flagged for tugging on that front bumper. Now here is a battle for the lead as John Andretti pulls alongside Rudd, races him down the backstretch into turn 3, and Andretti has the lead.
And he has a friendly competitor there, Kyle Petty, that just opened the inside up, let him go right on by. Kyle has dropped back to the 34th position.
So John becomes our third leader of the afternoon. Rudd led 49, make that 50 laps. John Andretti is also leading his fourth race of 98. He led last week at Dover. Well, here's a gaggle of cars, huh?
See Bill Elliott trying to get by the 91 car of Todd Bodine. Martin was able to get by Bill Elliott during the commercial break and kind of drive away from him. Now Elliott almost clears Todd Bodine. He does clear.
Now this group of cars are about 2/3 of a lap behind John Andretti.
Kenny Whoa, we see some smoke off the tire where he made contact. Watch our Tabasco hot zone as we get inside, and we see Kenny Wallace get up to about 110 miles per hour. Down to about 60 in the corner, wasn't it, Bob?
Yeah, about 63.
Accelerates up to 8,800 RPMs. Todd is really having trouble keeping this car on the bottom of the racetrack. He's got to use that brake to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack. Oh.
Bickle and Jarrett, 88 and 98 for fourth place. Boy, Dale's been trying to get that spot for many, many laps.
Yeah, Sterling Marlin came up to both of them and passed them, and now Jeff Gordon has caught up to them. Sterling got around the 98 car a little bit easier than Jerry is.
But DJ's car is getting a little bit loose here about 70 laps into the run.
And once again, the leader is working some heavy traffic. Look at the mess of cars he has to go through, including the next one that, well, the car that he is trying to lap right now is Dale Earnhardt.
Jeremy Mayfield, Jerry Nadeau. Oh, and we see some contact between Earnhardt and the 43 car, the leader, as they lock wheels coming off turn 4. And looked like Earnhardt was going to dive into the inside retaining wall, but fortunately they were able to get unhooked.
Dale is trying desperately to stay on the lead lap.
But he's not going to be able to do it unless he can pull back up the inside as they try to other cars up there that Andretti trying to lap.
Jeremy Mayfield will be the next to be lapped.
Looks like turn 4 is really slick. Of course, that's not unusual. That turn is usually slick coming off of there.
Let's replay this incident between the 43 and the 3 moments ago.
Ever see the 43 on the outside, the 3 on the inside, and they just make some contact and bam. Those tires, when those front tires touch each other, all of a sudden that driver loses control of the steering wheel. The car goes where he wants to go.
Now Jerry Nadeau has gone a lap down. That's the, what do you call that, lime-colored car? The number 9.
Here's Mike Skinner running with Jeff Bodine.
Now they're about a full turn in front. They're coming off turn 4 as John Andretti is going into turn 3. And this group is running 24th, 25th, 26th.
Right along with Steve Park as he tries to get by Jeff Bodine. We'll check his RPM and speed, about 109 miles per hour. The racing with that car obviously is going to slow him down some. They drove the car in really hard trying to clear himself of Bodine. Was able to do that. Here comes Terry Labonte. This car is running back to 23rd, 24th, 25th. The leader not that far behind them.
Here is Bobby Hamilton, who is in 26th position. Remember, he made an early pit stop.
He made a series of pit stops. He said he had a plug wire come off. Here's Mark Martin and Ted Musgrave racing side by side. Musgrave in the 77 car this week.
Mark Martin. Yep. Martin moves up to 12.
Wally Dahlin back. A Budweiser car in 11th spot, right on board with him. He goes by Michael Waltrip on the outside.
Jeremy Mayfield coming into the pits on the backstretch. A little bit earlier than we thought they'd be in here at lap 78.
Well, he was just lapped not too long ago, so apparently he feels that it's time for some new rubber. John Kernan as Jeremy makes the pit stop.
After going down a lap, they decided to bring the car in because Jeremy's car is very, very loose. A track bar adjustment along with a wedge adjustment on the left rear. The left side now going on as they add a little more wedge as he was down and away. They're already several laps down.
Now Jeff Gordon is beginning to make a bit of a comeback. He moves to 5th place, having passed Dale Jarrett. Right up ahead of him is Rich Bickle, who is running in 4th. Kyle Petty, you can see there, is also a lap down to the leaders. He's running in 35th position. So there's Gordon in 5th, and there is the leader, John Andretti, who so far has been out front for 17 laps. 80 have been completed here in the Napa Auto Care 500 from Martinsville Speedway in Virginia.
Rather go to a real race? During the Napa 500 Great Start Sweepstakes, you could win one of 8 trips to Daytona Speed Weekend, or the grand prize, a trip to Daytona, $10,000 cash, and be the honorary starter of the Napa Auto Parts 300. So come into any Napa Auto Parts store for details. Napa halogen lamps, as low as $4.99.
Nobody loves cars more than I do. Each one is a work of art. So when the maker of all these chose a new antifreeze, it got my attention.
General Motors now uses the deck school technology of Haviland Extended Life Antifreeze in virtually all its new vehicles. The same patented formula you can use in your car for 5 years or 150,000 miles. So do what GM did. Switch to Haviland.
I use it in my car. I only wish this were it.
At a standstill, it might be compared to other sport bikes. At top end, it might be compared to other sport bikes. But at each and every mile per hour in between, comparisons become insignificant specks in the mirrors. The TL-1000R, the only one of its kind on the track, from Suzuki.
This is no ordinary leather jacket.
Because when you put it on, you're not just saying you're a NASCAR fan. You're saying you care about kids.
Buy any Exide NASCAR Select battery in 1998 and get the special 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket for just $150. And on behalf of NASCAR fans everywhere, Exide will donate all profits to Give Kids the World Foundation.
The special edition 50th anniversary NASCAR jacket. Look for details wherever Exide NASCAR Select is sold.
Nice jacket.
Friday night of the fights are back. This week, our main event will feature Andrew Galata against Tim Witherspoon. Muhammad Ali will be featured in our classic segments. Brian Kenny and Max Kellerman host ESPN2 Friday Night Fights, and it all debuts this Friday. Speaking of slugfest, we have one going here at Martinsville as 87 of the 500 laps have been completed. We're watching the activity from overhead in the Pennzoil copter cam, providing the shots for us. Leader of the race is John Andretti in the 43 car. And running second right now is Ricky Rudd. '36 car of Ernie Irvin was the pole sitter of this race. However, he has slipped back to 7th position. Doc, what's going on?
Bob, the 36 car is loose getting off the corner. Now, Ernie Irvin says now the track is getting really, really hot and the tires are getting slippery and greasy. They are going to make an adjustment in the car. Now, every one of these cars, most of them have 2 ignition boxes. When Ernie began the race today, he was on the front box, which had a 9,250 chip in it, meaning he could turn 9,250 RPM. That was on sticker tires when the track was nice and cool. Once it gets hot and greasy like it is right now, he's switched now to the other box, which has a 9,100 chip in it, and also has retarded timing from 34 to 32 degrees. The car will not have as much torque off the corner and won't slip as much. Maybe that'll help Ernie stay in this position until they get a pit stop. And I understand leaders are in heavy, heavy traffic.
And we got cars hitting the wall and hitting each other, and it's quite a sight.
Track
trying to stay on that lead lap, and now John Andretti has nowhere to go as Kenny Irwin and Terry Labonte run side by side for the 23rd and 24th position.
Check out Sterling Marlin, that Coors Light car in third place. He's just 1 second behind the leader now.
He has come from over 5 seconds down to catch them. Part of that was as a result of being in traffic, but Sterling's come through a lot of traffic himself, too. He has a good race car.
Kenny Irwin has gone a lap down. Terry Labonte so far has fought successfully to stay on the lead lap.
A moment ago, Jerry Bunch was telling us about Ernie Irvin. Check this out as we see John Andretti come off the corner. Kenny Irwin gets a little bit loose, goes up, hits the 91 car. Todd Bodine, he slaps the wall. And Terry Labonte says, let me get down on the inside here. And he's still able to stay in front of the leader. Folks, you wonder what, we keep talking about brakes this racetrack, and you wonder why? Check the rotor on Kenny Irwin's car. He's going down the straightaway now. See how the tire, and as he touches that brake rotor, it turns just cherry red. That's the rotor there that Ned has circled. And that is probably 900 degrees, 1,000 degrees. And he gets the fluid hot, and you can see the rotor really and truly never cools off.
Yeah.
It stays red almost all the way down the straightaway.
It's even blowing down the straightaways. Well, let's see. 14th, 15th, and 16th, we got Bill Elliott, Ken Schrader, and Bobby Labonte.
They're running about 16.5 seconds behind the leader. The leader's turning this track in a little over 22 seconds.
This is the McDonald's onboard camera as we look back at Bobby and Kenny.
That's the best way to see a battle like that, out of your rearview mirror.
The guy on the move right now.
We see the leader, John Andretti, the STP Pontiac, as he still tries to get by Labonte. Jimmy Spencer gets a little loose off the corner. And check it out. Now, Sterling Marlin has passed Ricky Rudd. He is in second spot in the Coors Light Chevy.
And look how that thing hugs to that inside, gets traction coming off of the corner. Boy, you just can't beat that here at Martinsville, especially after they've run as many laps as they have now. Those tires really heated up, the track getting a little bit slick, and he's getting that traction and is going towards the front.
Sterling Marlin has finished second here on 2 different occasions, most recently in spring race of '92. This is his 26th race here at Martinsville. His best '98 finish was 7th place at Sears Point and also at Watkins Glen. So the road courses were good this year to Sterling Marlin as he now moves to the inside of Kenny Irwin.
Benny, we were talking about those brakes a little bit ago. They're having to use more brakes now than they were earlier in the race because of the tires being slicker. You have to get it wound down when you get into the corner to keep from spinning it out.
John Andretti continues to lead here at Martinsville by about 1 3/4 seconds over Sterling Marlin. John Andretti led 59 laps here in April, and until he led last Sunday in Dover, this is where he led last. Look at the crowd. More than 83,000 people are gathered around this paper clip shaped half-mile racetrack in Southern Virginia, Martinsville Speedway. We're glad you could join us on this very hot Sunday afternoon here in Martinsville for our coverage of the Napa Auto Care 500.
Why is everybody buying their car audio and security at Discount Auto Sound? AM/FM high-power CD player, $169.95. 200-watt MTX, 250-amp, 3-year warranty, $169.95. MTX woofers, T3000 series, buy one, get one free. Fiber complete car security system with remote start, $299.95. Add a TV to your minivan starting at $999 installed. Top brands, newest technology, all in stock. MECP certified installation staff and lifetime installation guarantee. Discount Auto Sound, 3 locations. Buy where the winners buy.
The Honda ATVs. The desert can't beat them. The jungle can't beat them. Even a fall from 1,000 feet can't beat them. And if you thought these Hondas were tough to beat before, now they come with no down payment and 9.8% APR financing, but only until December 31st. Tough to beat deals from your Honda dealer. Honda ATVs, best on earth.
Available at Casey Cycle City, J. Clyde Morris Boulevard, Newport News.
Introducing ESPN2 Friday Night Fight, showcasing today's best boxing talent along with classic bouts of the past. This week, Tim Witherspoon takes on Andrew Galata. Plus, a look back at Muhammad Ali the early years. Friday Night Fights, Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
A magazine's success starts with the writers. What's on Barry Sanders' mind? Get me inside the head of the greatest running back ever. Is this Yankee team the best of all time? And what's the scoop on Chief Sackman Derek Thomas? Printed, baby!
Pit stops are occurring here because we're under caution. We're cautioned because John Andretti crashed, the leader of the race. Let's concentrate right now on this series of pit stops.
And everybody was ready to come into the pits, Bob.
Here comes our leader, Sterling Marlin, off pit road. He will be the first. Jeff Gordon will come off second. Ricky Rudd third. DJ fourth. We see Jeff Burke moving in the back. He and Mark Martin. But meanwhile, Ernie Irvin gets moving. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is the tire changer. I thought someone ran over Kenny Irwin's tire changer. Jason Shapiro changing that front tire. Now around to the left side. Wheel goes off. Wheel goes on. Pick up the wrench. Tighten them up. Let her down. Let's go.
And away he goes down to Bill Weber, the 43 pit.
John Andretti's second visit to pit road. He hit the wall. All he told his crew was something broke. He came in early, got right side tires. He's come back in. He's got left side tires now. Pulling sheet metal away from the right front of the car. A heartbreak for this team. Remember, he ran out of gas 4 laps from the finish last time we were here. Today he was leading. He brushes the wall. Andretti's chances crippled here at Martinsville.
Let's take a look at what happened while we were away in commercial break to John Andretti.
Comes off turn 4 as he exits the corner. And all of a sudden, the car just goes straight in. It's like the right front tire went flat on the car, Ned.
And we were talking about that heat that builds up as far as the brakes are concerned. And we have seen the heat get so hot there on that right front tire that it'll melt the bead of the tire.
The inside of the tire, that's correct.
The 31 car is back in. John Kernan.
What happened on the pit stop? They were in such a hurry to get off of pit road. The jack came down early, and Mike Skinner took off before the lug nuts were tightened on the left front. The wheel came off of the car. He had to limp his way back around on just 3 wheels, and it looks like the sway bar might be broken as they have come back in and changed the left front tire, put the lugs on tight, but we would expect Mike Skinner maybe to be back here on pit road the next time by.
You saw the tire. It came to rest up on the high side of the racetrack in turn 4. NASCAR officials going to retrieve it. John Andretti, meanwhile, is back in the pits. There is the tire that came off of it after he hit the wall coming out of corner number 4 just a few moments ago, giving up the lead. Back with more in just a moment.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? You don't, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. To do it yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
People ask me all the time, how do you decide which anchors work together? And to be honest, it's an awkward process.
Dear Larry, want to do the sports together? If yes, check this box. Charlie?
Ultimately, you're looking for a good relationship.
If you're not doing anything later tonight, would you want to do a show with me?
Whoever said all's fair in love and war was probably a broadcaster.
We'll be back with more Sports Center in just a moment.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
ESPN Speed World back at Martinsville, Virginia. We are 115 laps into this race, and we are under caution, although about to go back to green. More than 83,000 people have come here to see the Napa Auto Care 500. Jerry Punch.
Update some pit stops here at the far end of pit road. First, Jeff Gordon. They came in and changed 4 tires, made an air pressure adjustment. Did not really get a chance to look at the toe end, in or out. They don't think it can be very bad because the car was running awfully well. Ricky Rudd in the 10 car. His car is good, but his helmet's quit working, and now he is calling for a relief driver in the 10 car. The 36 car, 1 pound of air pressure change across the rear tire. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, for Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin, they both had 4 tire stops. Mark Martin is a little bit tight, so they took a round of bite out and made an air pressure adjustment. Also an air pressure adjustment, 1 round for Dale Jarrett. Green flag is out.
Sterling Marlin the leader, Jeff Gordon second, Rudd is third, then Jarrett and Irvin, followed by Dallenbach as they all go down into turn 1.
See DJ driving up on the outside of Ricky Rudd, trying to take over that 3rd spot. And man, if Ricky Rudd is hot now, 118 laps into the race, hardly any way he can finish the race.
Boy, you can't imagine that he could, because it's only going to get worse.
Temperature expected near 90 or perhaps a couple of degrees over that here at Martinsville this afternoon. Sterling Marlin continues to lead. He has now led 16 laps. So far, Rudd has led the most.
Now Rudd trying to make a move on Jeff Gordon down on the inside, taking over second.
And they race down the backstretch, wheel to wheel.
You say, well, why wouldn't Jeff Gordon and Ray Abraham, why wouldn't those guys take a look